Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. This is an engine, as you can clearly see. This is an M56 B25. This is out of the wagon that we turned into an S54 wagon, basically turned it into a M3 drivetrain. And the reason this is here is because I need the block out of it. All of the M54, 56 blocks are the exact same, and all of the 2.3, 2.5, 2.8, 3 liter, they're all the same block. This engine right here actually has the 3-liter intake on it, which was surprising to me. We're not going to be using this because what I'd really like to do, the M50 intake manifold, which we've been talking about for a while. So today's plan is to get this off the pallet. We'll be using our Pittsburgh engine hoist, and then right behind this, just out of camera view, I've got the Pittsburgh engine stand. This is just a cheap $100 one. I wanted to buy the one that I think it's $300, and it's not Pittsburgh, it's the other brand that they've got, and you actually like ratchet it around, it spins the engine over. This one's kind of a little bit unruly, but with a straight 6 or a 4-cylinder, you should be okay with this. If you're doing a V8, I probably wouldn't recommend this engine stand. It's a 1,000-pound one. Every time you see something that says 1,000 pounds or 1 ton, pretty safe to go, okay, I'm only gonna run about 60% of that, 65% of that. I wouldn't be running this up to like 850, 900 pounds. This engine isn't anywhere near that, even with the transmission on it. So today I'm gonna take the transmission off. It's an automatic. I'm gonna figure out what to do with that. Maybe somebody local wants it, but automatic transmission, I don't know if it's a ZF or the Getrag or whatever the transmission is, but I need to get that off the engine so I can get the engine on the engine stand. I want to build the engine stand and basically gain this room back that's behind the car here. So yeah, pretty fun-filled afternoon. Before we get into today's video, I want to go over our giveaway that we're doing. This is the Shadow eDrive 4S. This is a throttle controller that we're giving away. Did a video on this, I believe it was last week, and it was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed having this. And it will be given to one of my Instagram followers, Tenza_Motorsports. All you have to be doing is following us. If you're following us, you are automatically entered into all of our giveaways that we do. We go off of our Instagram followers, trying to build up that following a little bit. I'd like to give this away next video, so just kind of keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're following us. Again, Tenza_Motorsports. And as always, like today's video if you enjoy this type of content, and make sure you are subscribed. So real quick, I want to talk about some of these Pittsburgh products. You've seen this on the channel before, not this exact red one. It was when it was gray. That's actually my cousin's engine hoist. I decided to buy one myself. This one here, this is a 1-ton engine hoist. So when it's all the way back, it's at 1 ton. And I was going to give this really good reviews, but just recently, it dropped all of its hydraulic fluid out of it. It still jacks up. I trusted enough to get to do today's project, but I'm probably going to have to get something figured out. You know, if I was jacking up a car and I didn't have any fluid in the jack, I probably wouldn't do that. But where nothing's really underneath this, and I don't need to get it very high off the ground, I just need to be able to get it off the pallet enough to get it on the engine stand. I feel okay with that today, but normally I wouldn't do that. But I need to get this out from behind the car so I can free up this space again. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to mine. I did have it all the way up the other day, and I must have just blown a seal or something. So hopefully this is serviceable. Hopefully it's something that I can get either warranted or something. But yeah, I need to get this figured out. But so far the Pittsburgh stuff's been really good. This is actually the 3rd one. We've got one of these at work. I own one, and then like I said, my cousin has one. And they've all been really good up until literally just like 4 days ago. So overall, I recommend these. Get your extended warranty, whatever it is. Most of the time, Harbor Freight will work with you, even if you don't. But get that. It's not that much more money. These are a quarter, a fifth, a sixth of what a brand name would cost. So that means I could buy this, 5, 6, 7 times before hitting the brand name one. So yeah, this all put together. So I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I'm going to go get the other Pittsburgh, the engine stand put together. We'll get the transmission off. I'll get it wrapped up, get it taken outside, and I go from there. So this right here goes on to the end, and this has a retaining ring, this guy right here. Now, I have always put the engine on the engine stand by putting this on the block and then lifting the engine up with the engine hoist and then sliding it on. I have not had a lot of luck
by having this all mounted like this and then having the engine sitting there hanging while I'm trying to attach it, because you have to make sure the engine's at the exact right angle and all sorts of stuff. And I've always fought that. I've had much better luck putting this on the engine block on the back of it and then lifting it all up in one piece and sliding it in. So if you put in that retaining ring, it's going to be hard to remove. And then this right here is more of an oil cap. So if you look at the top here, there's a greaser. So you can actually pump grease into this retaining ring, and then that cap right there helps keep the grease inside here. I do like the double handle, so they give you 2 rubber pieces on each end. The other one that we had just had like a retaining clip on this side. And then there is a full H here. So you've got 2 bars running parallel to each other and one down the middle. The last one we had is just a wheel out here on the end. So this has improved over the years, and I believe this is cheaper than what we paid for the old one. I think I paid like $130 or $140 for the old one, and this was $100. And I don't think this one's on sale. I think that's just basically the price that it was. Yeah, overall, really happy with it. So we're gonna now take the transmission off of the engine and then lift the engine up and get this mounted on here. So I've got the automatic transmission off. There's a torque converter. I'm gonna be pulling out my super clean here soon, because that's what I use to clean up all of the oils and crap in the garage. They make really good quality stuff, so you'll see that in just a moment. One thing I wanna point out before we get there is, you see that dowel right there, that alignment dowel? That slips right over it. So I don't know if all alignment dowels are the exact same, but it's been freaking awesome to have this set up here. So the last one did this, the last engine stand did this, and I'm glad this one does it too. Awesome. I was worried about that for a second, and then I test fitted it, and it works great.
Well, there you go. That's all I'm getting done today. I am going to be trying to resell that transmission. It is a ZF, so I'll probably just post it locally. I don't know what automatic transmissions are worth, but honestly, the first person to offer me like, I don't know, 25, 50 bucks, and we'll come and pick it up and take it away, it's there, so I'll just post it on like Marketplace or something like that. But I am very happy with the way the engine stand is. There's a lot of really cool new features that this has compared to the older ones, and for it being as cheap as it is, it's kind of hard to pass this one up. Now, real quick before we go, why do I have this in here? This car's got 220,000 miles, and that car might be having issues. I'm not quite sure yet what's going on with this one, but basically what's happening is I'm getting air in my coolant system. So is it exhaust gases, or is it a leak? Am I leaking it somewhere? I keep getting it leaking out of the overflow cap, and it's almost like it overpressurizes it, and it kicks it out, and then it just looks like it looks like you put coolant on your fingertips and flicked it on my reservoir or around it. And so it's like, what the heck is going on? And it only happens when I drive it really hard. The one theory is that I've got a bad coolant system, something somewhere is bad. The other theory that I've had from a buddy of mine that does Ford mechanics, or used to, is that I'm getting load lift. So basically it's pulling the head up just slightly under really heavy load, pushing exhaust gases in there. I've done a compression test. I've done an exhaust gas test, the one where you squeeze the blue fluid to see if it changes to yellow. I have done a pressure test, so I actually pressure tested the coolant system. ran it up to 120 or whatever it's supposed to be, and it held there for like a half an hour, dropped like 2 pounds. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Preferably this engine would go into this car. My wife is really wanting to turbocharge her car at some point, and I don't think an engine with 220,000 miles can really handle that. But her car's been real nice and strong, no issues. We've been really happy with it. What we basically do is we pull the engine and the supercharger out of this car. I would rebuild the engine again and have a spare. So that's basically what's nice about having this is I'll rebuild this one, I'll get it ready to go, and then whichever car needs it, I'll put it on that car. And then every time I pull one out, I'll just build it better. And the goal at some point is to have 2 engines in the car, 1 out of the car, all of them built, all of them, you know, easily doing 550 horse or so. It's just kind of like a spare ready to go. And the other reason I like doing this style is because if you pulled an engine out, because I tend to forget things, if I pull the engine out and I rebuild it and I go to put it back in the car 3 months later, I go, oh, where did this go and how did that fit and where does this bolt go? Now it's nice because I do have 2 cars, so if I needed to look at one or the other for reference, I can do that, but it's not ideal. So you build one, pull the engine out, put the new one in, I can have it done. I could probably have an engine out and a new one back in a Saturday, maybe a long weekend. Tell me what you think I should be doing engine build wise. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, do 800, 900, 1,000 horsepower, and these cars are kind of scary fast to begin with. Just stripping a 330 out isn't slow. And to start adding boost, and now you're 354, 450 horsepower, it starts getting pretty crazy inside these. Huge shout out to Super Clean, fantastic stuff. You'll see more of their products in the future. I've kind of used up all of my supply in the house and cleaning up everything, and I just recently got some more in, so I really appreciate it. Thanks again. We'll see everybody in the next video.
Bam!